How's it going? This is Ed here, taking a look at the RockyMounts GuideRail on the back of the 2022 Volkswagen Atlas Cross Sport. So let's take a look at this guy. Well, the GuideRail, as you see, is a wheel-mounted bike carrier. Why would you want that? Well, one of the main benefits of going with a wheel mount style carrier is the fact that it doesn't make any contact to the frame. So if you have a carbon fiber bike or something with a fancy paint job or something that you just don't want contact to your frame, wheel mount option is going to be your go-to. Now, your bike carrier will work for any type of bike. Usually I direct it more so to people who don't want contact to their frame of their bike, but any type of bike, as long as you have two wheels, this guy will mount to it. Also, you want to keep in mind weight capacities for your e-bikes. It's going to max out at 60 pounds per bike. Another thing to be aware of, your trays are only going to support wheels a width of 3 inches and under. So if you have fat tire bikes, this would not be a carrier that would work for you. And also your wheelbase maximum is at 55 inches. All right, so let's tilt this guy down to access our cargo area. And just taking a look at it now, you can see with a single bike, you can kind of picture how it would look with a bike on the outer tray. So I would be pretty sure that it'll be, if not making contact with the ground, it'd probably be pretty close. So you want to be cautious of that. But it does give you enough tilt where you're able to access your cargo area so you can make use of it when you're out and about. If you, as you see, again, if you had a second bike or two 60-pound bikes on there, it would be pretty difficult to get down here to get leverage to lift it up. So that's another thing to consider with this type of carrier. So what we're gonna do now is take our bike down and take a closer look at all of our features. So we're gonna push down and then lift up, and that releases the tension on our wheel mount. Do the same on this side. You can grab your bike by your front fork and the rear frame, and that makes it a lot easier to control when you remove it. All right, so now we're gonna get this guy folded away. Side note, I wanna point out that all of the blue aluminum points are gonna be your touch points on the RockyMount. This guy right here will actually support a diameter of your wheel up to 29 inches, going down to 20 inches. You can actually adjust this stopper here for your smaller wheels. But as far as just laying it down, just give it a push and then it snaps into place. Same way on this guy here. And then we are unloaded. So let's get some measurements as far as how close we are to the Atlas here. So it looks like from the bumper, we have a solid distance of about 7.5 inches. So you don't have any risk as far as the carrier making contact with the rear of the vehicle. You do have a concern as far as your sensors for your backup being obstructed by the carrier. So when you're in reverse, it will beep, but it's not a bad idea to be aware of additional items on the back of your vehicle. And let's see. Your carrier does also have a rise, so your factory height is going to stay about the same, but adding on to the carrier at the lowest point puts you at about 25 inches from the ground. Another thing to consider with that is also when you add on two 60-pound bikes and additional 120 pounds of weight, it will affect what that ground clearance will be. And our overall measurement is going to add 31 inches from the rear of the vehicle to the overall length. So just be aware that you have it on the rear. And that same handle, the blue handle, you're gonna use to pull up and lift towards the vehicle to put in the stowaway position. And in the stowaway position, I can fit my entire arm back here. You're not really having any risk of contact with the vehicle. And just looking at the distance, you're about 6 inches away. And as you see in the stowaway position, this guy will obscure your license plate if you're directly behind it. And again, we already addressed the backup sensors. Your rear window and tail lights are wide open, so those guys aren't bothered by it. So just something to be aware of on the rear of the vehicle. The GuideRail has a 2-inch by 2-inch shank that'll fit into your 2-inch by 2-inch receiver. It's also including a 19 millimeter anti-rattle bolt that is keyed alike to the heavy-duty bike cable, so you can secure the carrier to the vehicle and the bikes to the carrier. Now, with the Rocky Mounts, overall, I think this is a really solid carrier. If you're looking for something that's to carry your e-bikes that are 60 pounds and under, great option. You also have the option to add an additional bike that does reduce your weight capacity to 40 per bikes. So if you're looking for 3 e-bikes, it wouldn't be an option. Alternatively, we do offer the Ceres MHS system. It's a modular system where you can add to it and your weight capacity goes up to 80 pounds. However, this guy, for the value of it, really solid, and it has these nice blue touch points, which I think looks nice against the vehicle. So in general, the RockyMounts GuideRail, solid carrier. So this has been Ed taking a look at the RockyMounts GuideRails on the 2022 Atlas Cross Sport from Volkswagen.